glimmer of light right along the horizon. That would, look at that. This morning, what we saw yesterday afternoon, I thought was absolutely delightful. Temperatures in the 40s. Today, going to be warmer, but not quite as sunny. And then the bottom falls out. We'll deal with it. All right, here's the deal. We have temperatures headed for the low 50s today. It'll be close to 40 at 9. Upper 40s at noon, warming up quite nicely. And then breezy and mild, 52 degrees at 4 o'clock. That should be right around our high for the day. Look at these current numbers. Remember, 32 is a normal high this time of year, and it's 40 now at O'Hare, 39 at Waukegan. A little bit chillier, 36 degrees at Aurora, 36 at Valparaiso. But these numbers are already way above the normal high. And compared with yesterday at 7 a.m., in some cases, double digits warmer than it was. 10 degrees warmer at Midway, 12 degrees warmer at Waukegan. 9 degrees warmer at Aurora, and we're going to see a little bit more sunshine sneaking in here later today, but a cold front at the top of the map. What will that do to temperatures? It may not put a smile on your face. I know, Gabriella, you're not looking forward to the colder air, are you?
No, I'm not, Mike. I like what we're doing with the 50 degrees. Let's keep it that way after the weekend's done, Mike. Make some changes for me, would you? All right, let's take a look at where Skyfox is. They have a kind of a long shot for us over on the northbound side of I-55 near I-80. This is closer to US 6 where the crash happened. It reportedly involves 3 vehicles, and it looks like it's blocking more than 1 right lane. So maybe 2 right lanes now because we're seeing so little traffic get through or past those flashing lights. So please be aware of this. The traffic starts around the Des Plaines River all the way to around this area just before I-80. On the outbound side, or the southbound side, excuse me, you're going to be seeing a little bit of a gapers delay. So watch the situation. We'll give you some more information here soon. But let's go over to our overview map and look at what else is going on. Let's give your drive times 40 minutes all on the Kennedy, Eisenhower, and Stevenson. Around 35 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange. Really, that only major crash is over near the Channahon area on I-55 near I-80. Other than that, we're seeing things off the expressway. It looks like some minor crashes maybe on our map otherwise. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Gabby. Several violent attacks on the CTA. Recently, you have violence interrupters doing their part to try to keep passengers safe.
Roseanne has the latest on their efforts that took place just last night. Roseanne?
Well, that's right. This group of men have received special violence prevention training, and last night they rode the Blue Line train, the first of many trips they hope to take, in the hopes of adding an extra layer of protection for wary CTA riders. They're nervous after so many incidents on the CTA trains. The group gathered at Staten Lake after 9 p.m., boarding a Blue Line train to the last Chicago stop in Austin. This comes after several violent incidents on CTA trains. The most recent, a deadly stabbing on the Blue Line at Clark and Lake early Saturday. A 37-year-old man died from his injuries. And, of course, in October, that woman was badly burned when she was set on fire on a Blue Line train. Early Sunday, the Red Line, another man stabbed after arguing on a train near the 69th Street stop. The violence interrupters say they are specially trained to de-escalate and deter dangerous situations. Tio Hardiman is the group's founder and executive director.
And when people start talking crazy, we know how to meet them where they are and not talk crazy back to them, but work it out with them so they don't harm anybody. And I know for a fact we probably could have prevented some of them stabbings from taking place out here on CTA if we were present.
So this is a not-for-profit group. They plan to ride the trains weekly around the 2 a.m. hour when a lot of these incidents tend to occur. And all of this comes at a time the federal government is scrutinizing the CTA and demanding that they step up security by March or risk losing $50 million in federal funding. So an urgent situation for the CTA. In the loop this morning, Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
Yes, a lot on the line there. Roseanne, thank you. And police just made an arrest in a deadly shooting on the CTA. This one happened last month on the Pink Line. Police say Pedro Villarreal got into a fight with 2 men on the train. He had a knife, and one of the victims, one of those men, had a gun. At some point, police say Villarreal got a hold of that gun and started shooting. Both the men, a 23 and a 44-year-old, were shot. The older one did not survive. Villarreal has now been charged with murder. And a sad update to get to in the case of the missing CPS teacher Linda Brown. After 9 days, she has been found dead. Her family tell us that she was recovered from Lake Michigan Monday evening. Brown had been reported missing on January 3rd after her family says she missed an acupuncture appointment. They tell us that they are grateful for all the support from both friends and strangers, but are now, in the wake of this tragic discovery, they are asking for privacy, especially for Linda's husband.
He is beside himself. He is just very, very upset. Again, this wasn't the outcome any of us was hoping for, especially Antoine. He really thought that we would bring Linda home.
Family says Linda had been dealing with panic attacks and mental health issues leading up to her disappearance. Her cause of death will be determined by an autopsy.
Illinois is suing the Department of Homeland Security over its immigration enforcement tactics. The lawsuit accuses federal agents of an illegal occupation with claims about the use of biometric data, warrantless arrests, and license plate swapping. Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias says Illinois will not stand for federal agents disregarding laws and compromising public safety.
We have a fundamental responsibility to protect our residents, to uphold the law, and to hold people accountable for their illegal actions. With help from Illinoisans using our Plate Watch hotline, we gathered the evidence that helped form one of the foundations for this lawsuit.
The lawsuit aims to ban ICE and Border Protection from conducting enforcement in Illinois without congressional approval. The Department of Homeland Security reacting to the lawsuit with Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin saying in part, it is astounding that the left can miraculously rediscover the 10th Amendment when they don't want federal law enforcement officers to enforce federal law. Tensions flaring overnight in Minnesota as protesters and law enforcement clashed outside of the ICE regional headquarters in Minneapolis.
It comes as local elected officials there pursue a lawsuit against the federal government. Fox's Caroline Shively is live just outside Minneapolis with the very latest for us. Caroline.
Yeah, Natalie, Anthony, overnight here we saw more protests in Minneapolis that at times really got out of control. We saw some of those videos online this morning that appeared to show protesters throwing fireworks at federal agents out here, telling them to get out of the city. Meantime, ICE says they're going to stay here, though, until the job is done.
We fighting for Renee. You know, we will be outside until ICE gets out our city.
Protests are not slowing down. And tensions keep rising after last week's shooting death of 37-year-old Renee Good at the hands of an ICE agent. DHS says the officer acted in self-defense, accusing Good of trying to hit him with her car. But many local leaders disagree, saying ICE is scaring residents here.
While we know we can't control federal agents, we will pull every lever we have to fight back.
The state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are now suing the Trump administration to try and end its immigration crackdown.
We asked the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state. The intimidation, the threats, the violence.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says the surge in ICE agents is purely political.
You've got a Democratic governor, a Democratic attorney general, and you got Democratic mayors.
But DHS says hundreds of extra agents will be on their way. This as the White House is calling out anti-ICE protesters, saying their rhetoric is fueling violence.
Apparently, they are protesting the removal of heinous murderers and rapists and criminals from a city.
And DHS is now responding to that lawsuit, saying this isn't about politics at all. This is about safety. Guys.
Caroline Elliott, thank you so much. Live in Minneapolis for us this morning. All right, back here at home, top officials from the Chicago Bears appear to be moving forward with plans for a new stadium.
I want you to take a look at this photograph right here. That group, those are some heavy NFL hitters. Okay, we're talking about Bears president Kevin Warren, Bears chairman George McCaskey, and the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell. They were all seen at the Arlington Heights site there, kind of powwowing there. The meeting was caught on camera by a man named Greg Berger, who was dropping his son off at the metro station. Now, ironically, Greg's son was on his way to the Bears game at Soldier Field when that photo was taken.
I'm like, whoa, that's George McCaskey. That's crazy. Then I spot Kevin Warren, and he's got the orange tie, and I'm like, that's Kevin Warren. He's always sporting the orange tie. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, my jaw totally dropped when I saw Roger Goodell. That's when I was like, what is even happening right now? This is bizarre.
Sources tell us that Goodell also toured sites in Indiana as lawmakers there are trying to work on a potential tax deal to lure the Chicago Bears over the state line into Hoosier territory. Yeah.
The NFL has finalized the schedule for the divisional round of the playoffs. The Bears will host the Rams on Sunday with kickoff at 5:30. The last time the two faced each other in the playoffs all the way back in 1986 on their way to winning the Super Bowl. So very exciting, and hopefully history does repeat itself.
I'm all for that.
Move forward, Mike Kaplan.
Ooh, look at that beautiful shot there, huh? We're going to see a little bit of sun. Maybe not as much sun as we saw yesterday afternoon. I do have a question, though, about that photo. We identified 3 heavy hitters. Who was the 4th person?
Good question.
Good question. Inquiring minds. Somebody's got to know that guy from the back. Who would be with? Maybe a security, detail,
maybe.
Or something like that. Caterer. I'm not sure who that was.
Driver, butler.
That's right. All right, let's talk about cloud cover. We have quite a bit out there right now. It is not going to be as sunny as it was yesterday, but I do expect some drier air to come in from the north, and I think that's going to help us get into the low 50s today. Now, what I do want to show you is that parts of our viewing area are under a winter storm watch. It's not popping up here, but I'm just going to tell you where that is, and that would include LaPorte and Berrien County. These are areas where you will likely see some lake effect snow in that area, and maybe clipping northeastern Porter County as well. Not today. This is for late tomorrow into Thursday, and there could be several inches of accumulation going on. Today, it's all about mild air. Normally, this time of morning, this time of year, it'd be 19, 20 degrees. That's a typical low. Well, it's 40 now at O'Hare, 38 at Midway in the lakefront, Woodstock 36, LaSalle, Peru 39, 37 at Merrillville and also in Benton Harbor. I think we'll have no problem getting into the low 50s today, despite the fact that it won't be as perfectly sunny as yesterday afternoon was. Southwest winds 12 to 24. So a little bit on the breezy side. Let's check out the forecast for Sunday night, specifically for that Bears-Rams game. 16 degrees at kickoff, which we now know is going to be 5:30, so already cold. By halftime, the temperature will have dropped a few degrees. We'll have wind chills near 0. And then when the Bears are wrapping up their victory, 11 degrees, and as cold as it feels to Chicagoans, it's going to feel a lot colder for those Rams out there. So today, a mild day, checking out the 7-day quickly here. There's a little bit of snow on the way, area-wide. Thursday night, off and on Friday and Saturday, maybe a couple of inches of total accumulation, but then it gets cold for the Bears game and also for the King holiday. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. As the president considers military action against Iran, we're going to speak with a political science professor about how we got here and what now is at stake.
Are you struggling with pain, swelling?
7:15 now. President Donald Trump says he is ordering immediate 25% tariffs on any country doing business with Iran. This comes as he weighs whether to order military action against the Islamic Republic amid a violent crackdown on anti-government protests there. North Central College political science professor William Muck is here now to break down what happens next. So let's start with these tariffs, Professor. How could these new tariffs force Iran's hand?
Well, the administration is trying to think outside the box because I think, obviously, the first thing we go to is a military operation, but it doesn't just have to be a military operation. In fact, sometimes economic or cyber attacks, other techniques might actually be more effective at pushing the regime out than a conventional military attack. So this is an effort to try to squeeze the economy of Iran. I don't know how effective it will be because we've been squeezing the Iranian economy for a long time, but it also, I think, every little bit helps to some degree.
We're talking about upwards of 500 protesters killed so far by the government in Iran. Talk about what is driving the unrest right now and why and how these protesters are willing to put their lives on the line for things to change there.
And what's really important is that, we're hearing that yesterday we were hearing the numbers in the hundreds, but overnight you're hearing more things come out on social media that it may even be higher than that. Now, it's really hard because there's no internet, there's no real news on the ground to be able to get that information out. But some accounts are suggesting those may be in the thousands. So I think the reality is this may be much bigger than we actually know because we're not able to get coverage. This may feel more like a Tiananmen Square kind of incident in China rather than a small scale incident. But to your question, I think the economic issues are really hitting home in Iran. They've had inflation at 42%. The value of the currency has plummeted. So what's really driving this are bread and butter economic concerns. And then you have the long-term political repression there as well. So there's a lot of things going on, but really what sparked this 2 weeks ago was really the economic concerns. And that's what's pulling all of Iran to push back against the regime.
History has shown, I should say, that Iran is unlikely to change leadership. So how might this time, do you think, be different?
Well, they're going to try to cling to power, and that's what happens with regimes like this, especially repressive authoritarian regimes. And so, what might be different this time is the nature and the scale of the protests. So previous movements have been more isolated. This does sound like it's across the country. It's across economic groups. So you're seeing rich and poor, city and rural areas. You're seeing young people and old people. So that's what's really exciting and promising about this ability to maybe topple the regime. This really is a broad-based movement, and that's important. Now, the regime understands what's going on, and they are responding, again, cutting the internet, engaging in violence against their own citizenry. But this does feel like it's a nationwide movement to topple the government.
And talk a little bit about why Iran is such a pivotal country in the Middle East and causes a lot of problems beyond its borders, and how maybe a change there could benefit the entire Middle East.
Absolutely. For years, for decades, Iran has been really a thorn in the side of many in the Middle East. We can think about the Middle East. There really are two major powers, Iran and Saudi Arabia, in addition to Israel. And those two Iran and Israel have always been pushing back each other. Saudi Arabia and Iran have been pushing against each other. So, the idea of being able to flip Iran into a better position, to not be a troublemaker, to not be supporting terrorist forces throughout the region, to not be spreading military infrastructure, all of those things would be good for the region as a whole. It also would be good for U.S. foreign policy. So I think there's a lot of reasons, not just democratic reasons. It would be wonderful if Iran could throw off its oppressive regime, but I think the regional dynamics also would be really, really beneficial.
Professor William Muck will continue to watch the situation unfold. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's turn now to weather. And Anthony and I are super excited about the warmth, but we talked about a dip in temperatures. And Mike, the only dip I like has cheese. So I don't think I'm going to like what's coming our way toward the end of the week.
No sour cream and onion? You don't like that maybe on a chip? That could be a winner, too, in the dip department. Look, we've had kind of un-January weather here now for a week and a half. There's no snow on the ground. So maybe a little time to talk about some winter. And already, because of the potential for lake effect snow, we have several counties under a winter storm watch. It includes Berrien County and LaPorte County. This is not for today. This is for tomorrow. tomorrow, actually going into early Thursday. And I would not be surprised to see maybe Porter County get a winter weather advisory. This watch will have to change. It'll either go to winter storm warning or more likely winter weather advisory. Point is, those are the areas most likely to get impactful snow tomorrow into Thursday. The rest of Chicagoland, no, it's not going to happen yet. So today, mixture of clouds and sun, not as sunny as what we had yesterday afternoon. Despite that, I think we'll get into the low 50s today, really mild. Notice these clouds coming into tonight. That's out ahead of a cold front, which will be accompanied by a couple of brief snow showers overnight. That's not going to be much. I doubt it'll even cover the ground. But there's your lake effect going on during the day tomorrow and maybe ramping up a little bit tomorrow night into early Thursday. And you can see some of those snow showers hitting Porter County. So that's why I think Porter County, you're going to get in on maybe at least a winter weather advisory. On the Illinois side, nope. In fact, there should be a decent amount of sunshine. But during the day tomorrow, temperatures will be dropping. Whatever the temp is at midnight, that's going to be the high for the day. So let's check out the 7-day here. Today, low 50s, and then nothing like that for the foreseeable future. Tomorrow's high will be that midnight temperature of 38, maybe a brief snow shower early morning. Not going to screw up your morning commute. Thursday night into Friday and Saturday, there will be a system nearby that will produce snow showers. It won't be snowing for 72 hours in a row, but we may get a couple, 3 inches of total accumulation during that time. And look at where temperatures are headed. 18 for the high on Bears game day. And then on the King holiday, partly sunny skies and a high temperature of 22 degrees. Picking up the traffic detail. Anthony Ponce, how are we doing out there this morning? That doesn't look
not
good.
that great at the intersection of I-55 and I-80. There has been an accident there. 2 lanes are blocked, as you can see. Crews on the scene and cars making their way through on a single lane of traffic, or perhaps on the shoulder there. So you are talking about solid traffic from Bluff Road. Again, this is northbound I-55, so heads up there. The only other accident I'm noticing is on the North Lakeshore Drive. This was just reported about 15 minutes ago. This is on the southbound side, right at Fullerton, okay? So you're looking at some stop-and-go traffic inbound on Lakeshore Drive, right around Fullerton. L's are good, Metra is good, and here is a look at your drive times here on the area expressways inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare. You're at 46 minutes to downtown. On the Eisenhower from Route 390 to downtown, also at 46. And once you clear that accident on the Stevenson, you're at 44 minutes inbound from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive on I-355. And your inbound ride on the Dan Ryan, 33 minutes between 95th and downtown. We'll be right back.
In LaGrange, the village is debating whether to demolish this historic antique mall. The proposal would replace the space on the corner of East Burlington and 6th Avenue with a condominium. Currently, more than 70 small business owners operate within that building.
The Kane County Board will decide today whether it is time to redefine the rules when it comes to short-term rental properties via platforms like VRBO and Airbnb. Board members say the vote is not meant to block what's become common practice, but to ensure safety and to also lessen the strain on wells and septic systems in the unincorporated areas.
This party's going on too long, it's going too late, the street's blocked with cars, there are people coming and going at all hours of the night, just, you know, crazy things going on.
Regulations under consideration include home inspections prior to any rentals, 2 guests per bedroom with a maximum of 16 guests per property, no more than 12 rental contracts per year, and they're also considering a licensing fee of $200.
The NCAA Football National Championship is next Monday in Miami when Indiana takes on Miami. Ticket prices for the game are soaring. The cheapest tickets on the secondary market before Friday, $2,800. Friday evening, prices soared to $3,800, which sadly is a little too much for our own Anthony Ponce.
It is. Yeah, not in the realistic time frame or price range. Bears fans, meantime, will have some new gear to sport. During the playoff run. Local designer Catholic Imprint is releasing that right there. Pope Leo, and guess what his number is? Yeah, 14 right there. All the sales money will go to local charities, and you can order one of those jerseys at popejersey.com.
Popejersey.com. Boy, that is, they really use their imagination with that one.
Anthony, though, your dad, he's, basically retired. Doesn't he have a little,
extra
money,
scratch
some extra
lying
scratch
around
to hook you up for,
Dad, if you're
another
watching,
trip? You could get
text
a couple.
us, okay?
Phil, take care of your family.
He often, which is so cute, when he would come in before to do like these Ask Dad segments, would leave a $20 bill. And
you know
Anthony's
where we
little
keep
cubby.
the mics over there in those blue bins? I walked by after he came and there was a $20 bill in there. I had no idea where it came from, and then I had a little light bulb moment.
Yeah. Very cute.
Get yourself some coffee.
Was that in your bin?
Yeah, it was in my bin.
Because I got a $100 bill for
you. Got $100, Dad? What are you doing?
I don't know what that's saying about things. All right, here's the deal. We have mild weather today and then some actual January for a change. What will that mean for the Bears-Rams game? I'll let you know when we come back.
You're watching Good Day Chicago. It is now 7:30.
We appreciate you joining us this Tuesday morning. Here's a look at some of the stories we are following for you. Really sad update in the search for Linda Brown, the missing CPS teacher. The family didn't get the news they wanted. Her body was pulled from Lake Michigan Monday evening. She had been missing for an entire week. She was a CPS teacher, and the district says counselors are not going to be working with schools. There will be an autopsy performed today.
The commissioner of the NFL joins the owner and president of the Bears for a survey of sites for a new stadium. Roger Goodell, Bears owner George McCaskey, and team president Kevin Warren visited sites in Arlington Heights and Northwest Indiana. The Bears sent a survey to season ticket holders asking their opinions on a new stadium in Indiana.
And you just got plans for Sunday night. Clear your schedules, everybody, because the NFL has set the kickoff time for Bears-Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs. Kickoff at Soldier Field, 5:30 p.m. And as a reminder, this is the very first time since 1986 that the Rams and Bears have faced one another in the playoffs.
Meantime, here at home, several violent attacks on the CTA recently have violence interrupters now stepping up to help keep passengers safe.
We're checking back in with Roseanne Tellez, who has the latest on their efforts. Roseanne, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the group's members say their eyes, ears, and special training offer an extra layer of security for CTA riders who may be nervous about all of these recent incidents. So they joined together yesterday. They all gathered the violence interrupters at Staten Lake after 9 p.m. and boarded a Blue Line train to the Austin neighborhood, the last stop. This comes after a deadly stabbing on the Blue Line at Clark and Lake early Saturday. A 37-year-old man died from his injuries, and of course in October, that infamous incident when a woman was badly burned on a Blue Line train as well. Well, early Sunday on the Red Line, another man was stabbed after arguing on a train near 69th Street. Some passengers we talked to say these incidents are taking their toll, and they welcome any intervention that might help make them safer.
I think that's good. I think that's great, to be honest. It'll probably give us a little peace of mind.
Extra set of eyes and ears?
Yes, yes.
Now, the CTA increased the number of Chicago police, you'll remember, this was back in December, on trains and buses from 77 to 120 each day. They also spiked up the number of canines that were patrolling, and that went from 172 to 188. But you'll also remember the federal government, the FTA, said that wasn't good enough, and they're demanding that the CTA take further action by March or risk losing $50 million in federal funding. In the loop this morning, Roseanne Tellez, Fox Chicago.
A brand new report just released minutes ago reveals growing success in the war against cancer. The American Cancer Society says a study has found a 70% 5-year survival rate for all cancers combined. In the 1970s, that rate was just 50%. It also says the survival rate for advanced and fatal cancers have grown since the 1990s. It also says that lung cancer will become the most deadly form of cancer later this year, killing more people than colorectal cancer and pancreatic cancer combined. It is day 2 of Marni Yang's hearing on new evidence. Defense experts said that Yang could not have killed Ronnie Reuter in 2007. They say the new DNA evidence proves her innocence. Yang and Reuter were both involved with former Bears player Sean Gale. Reuter was pregnant with his child at the time that she was killed. Yang was given a life sentence in 2011. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear 2 cases about 2 state laws banning transgender people from taking part in school sports. One case centers around a high school sophomore in West Virginia born a biological male who sued to be able to play on girls' sports teams. The other stems from a trans athlete suing to play on the Boise State women's sports teams.
We know that there are physical characteristics that men have that give them an unfair advantage on the playing field.
I wish these people would educate themselves just so they would know that I'm just there to have a good time. That's it. But it hurts sometimes. Like, it gets to me sometimes.
Justices are expected to make a ruling in June. Their decision could impact everything from bathroom access to even the midterm elections. A suspect has been arrested for a synagogue arson in the state of Mississippi. The fire at the Beth Israel congregation broke out shortly after 3 a.m. on Saturday. No one was injured in the fire. It is the largest synagogue in the state. The congregation is still assessing the damages. And back in 1967, the KKK bombed that same synagogue because its rabbi pushed for integration during the civil rights era. Well, here's something that Mike Kaplan will enjoy. A Japanese astronaut on the International Space Station used a labs video to capture the zodiacal light. He had been recording images for about 300 days. I saw you say, ooh, as you kind of walk closer towards the camera there. What do you think of this sight, Mike?
Very cool. And what this reveals is what we can see also from the ground. Notice that there's some green closer to the ground, and then it's red up high. And that's how it happens. You ionize oxygen lower altitude, it ends up showing up green, and that higher altitude ionized oxygen comes out red. That is spectacular.
That is.
Wow, that is super cool. All right, we have a downward trend in temperatures. This is the way our sky looks right now, looking from the 2800 camera. Quite a bit of cloud cover out there, but despite that, it's going to be a warm day, and it's the warmest for at least the next week and a half. I think we'll hit 52, and then watch what happens to temperatures. Tomorrow, 38, but that's at midnight, and then temperatures will be falling to the 20s. We'll stay in the 20s Thursday, maybe a brief spike up on Friday. Look at the weekend and into the King holiday, low 20s, may not even get to 20 on Sunday for the Bears game. Perhaps a little brief upward turn middle and end of next week before another shot of cold air comes in here. The point is, January, not quite done being January around here. We have not had to deal with much, though, so far this year. Quite a bit of cloud cover out there right now, but there will be some breaks of sunshine coming in, especially this afternoon. Precipitation, I remain unimpressed with anything happening during daylight hours today. Overnight, there can be a couple of little brief snow showers with the cold front. That's not going to do anything. Where I'm concerned about snow is lake effect, especially LaPorte and Berrien counties and points east. But it's possible that you might get clipped with some of that lake effect snow in northeastern Porter County, especially tomorrow night into early Thursday. So if you're driving in those areas or you live in those areas, that's where you may be doing a little bit of plowing or at least some kind of snow removal on the way. The rest of Chicagoland will stay dry. 38 degrees tomorrow at midnight. Then some sticking snow Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. Won't be snowing all the time, but there'll be occasional snow showers, maybe a 1 to 3 inch total accumulation. Look at the cold for Sunday and Monday. Monday's high for the MLK holiday, 22 degrees. How about 3 pretty pictures to share with you? That is fabulous. This is Muir Beach, California. Barbara Francione there, and I love the silhouette. Everybody enjoying that sunset there over the Pacific. Muir Beach is just a little bit north of San Francisco. Should be able to actually spy the Golden Gate Bridge from there. Pretty picture, Barbara. Next up, a little closer to home, this is Peyton's Hill, Glen Cowpert. Look at that. We're looking back at the city. This is in the Arlington Heights area, and you can actually, from that little rise, see the city. Almost looks like a painting behind the city there. Glenn, nice work. And our final photo this hour, bare skies over Dyer, Indiana. Stacy Morton giving us some orange and a little bit of blue. Well done. Bear down in Dyer, Indiana, and who knows, Bears may be playing close to Dyer at some point here in the near future. Almost 7:40. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. Live look at the city, and Mike says we're going to be warming up today, so that is definitely good news. There's going to be some new security restrictions at stadiums hosting the World Cup this summer.
Yes, the Department of Homeland Security says it is investing $115 million into counter-drone defense measures at venues hosting FIFA World Cup games. These measures are also expected to be used at events celebrating the country's 250th anniversary. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the investment is part of the administration's efforts to protect the country's border and interior as drone use continues to rise.
You have a few more days to recycle your Christmas tree for free. The Chicago Park District is taking them through the 17th, which is Saturday. There are 27 different locations to drop them off at, and you'll get some free mulch from all of those ground up trees as well if you want it. Take all the stuff off of them, of course, if you have anything left. So the tinsel, the ornaments, the lights, take it all off before you take it in.
I love watching trees be mulched. There's something satisfying about a lot of mulch to be made, everybody. Get that thing back into the earth. Circle of life. All right, it might not be the end of MTV after all, everybody. Paramount Skydance is looking to revive it. Bloomberg says that Paramount is looking for someone to help invest money in MTV and help with the music rights. Those days of people sitting around and watching MTV for 8 or 9 hours straight died out a long time ago. Last year, MTV averaged 200,000 viewers in prime time. Not a lot.
I love these old clips, though. How fun. Takes you back. I always remember the spring break. Do you remember the spring break?
Yes!
Like, I would sit at home in Springfield, you know, like in my room and like just dream of being at those spring break locations.
Sure.
How fun that would have been.
Simpler times.
Yeah.
I can remember when when MTV first started, and I had a tiny little yellow Toshiba TV set. I had a little stand. I used to sit like real close to it because it made it look like the screen was bigger. It's like, this is so cool. We got music, we got videos. Miss it now, don't you? All right. Here's what we've got weather-wise. There is some lake effect snow on the way. Let's see who it's going to impact and how much may come down. First of all, today, no worries about that. There will be some cloud cover as we have now, but on the whole, we'll break out into some sunshine this afternoon. Tonight, cloud cover returns. This is associated with a cold front that will be accompanied by a brief snow shower overnight. This is no big deal. What will be a bigger problem is for those of you in Miscellaneous. This is where the lake effect snow machine will continue to go, especially tomorrow night into Thursday. And you can see, even wavered briefly into Lake County, Indiana. But I really think the heaviest snows are going to be east of there. And during the afternoon on Thursday, everything pushing off to the east. How much snow are we talking about? Well, let's take a look at the numbers here. We'll roll you through with our Weather Authority Futurecast. And you see maybe a coating, a dusting on the Illinois side. But here's where you're going to see more. Even in Porter County, maybe 3 to 4 for you. This dark blue color is a ½ foot. That is where there could be more significant snowfall, especially in Berrien County, downwind there towards South Bend. Expect to see winter weather advisories and maybe even winter storm warning in those areas. For us today, 52, partly sunny, breezy, and mild with a southwest wind at 12 to 24 miles per hour. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. A major nurses' strike continues today in New York City.
More than 15,000 nurses are on strike. Contract talks fell apart a few days ago. The New York State Nurses Association says the strike is the largest in the city's history. The nurses are asking for better pay, balanced staffing levels, fully funded health benefits, and better workplace safety. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani joined the picket line outside of New York Presbyterian Church.
They show up, and all they are asking for in return is dignity, respect, and the fair pay and treatment that they deserve.
Mount Sinai and New York Presbyterian say they have hired outside nurses to maintain staffing levels during the strike. Meanwhile, New York Governor Kathy Hochul issued a state of emergency and an executive order to ensure hospitals stay open for patient care during the strike.
New polling shows more Americans are rejecting the two major political parties. A Gallup survey finds 45% of U.S. adults now identify as political independents. That's up from about a third of adults 20 years ago. The shift is being driven largely by younger voters and frustration with both major political parties, with more than half of Gen Z and millennials identifying as independents.
All right, we're finding out how Australia's social media ban has been working out thus far. Meta blocked more than 500,000 accounts when the ban went into effect earlier this month. The law prevents anyone under the age of 16 from even having a social media account. Other countries have been watching to see how this all unfolds, though Meta says age verification should be part of the App Store. U of M, University of Michigan, has a new president today. The Board of Regents voted unanimously to hire Kent Syverud to lead the school. He has served as the chancellor and president of Syracuse University for the last 12 years. So he knows the challenges that colleges are facing right now when it comes to safety and college sports.
What I've learned is that whatever else you have to do to be successful, all our students have to be safe first, and all our students have to be welcome first. My fervent belief that collective bargaining nationally with student athletes is going to be an essential part of success, as it is currently for all successful professions.
Syverud attended University of Michigan from 1981 to 1983. He earned a master's degree. He earned a JD there as well. His contract terms include a salary of $2 million for 5 years. Syverud will officially take over on July 1st.
Intense moments for a group of snowboarders in Colorado. Video shows the group getting caught up in an avalanche at Rocky Mountain National Park. One boarder was buried under the snow for a short amount of time. Whoa, look at that. Officials say they only suffered minor injuries, though. Thank goodness. New technology is allowing blind and visually impaired sports fans to experience sporting events in a whole new way. Some NBA teams, including the Denver Nuggets and Ticketmaster, have teamed up with One Court. They're using a device that translates the movement of basketballs and gameplay into vibrations. So fans who are blind or are low vision can experience the game with their fingertips. One Court uses direct data from RFID chips in jerseys and balls to track game stats.
You can tell when they're at the free throw line, or you can tell where they are, or the 3-point. You can feel the vibration is right at that line. And so you get that much detail. And then when they make a basket, you definitely can tell.
Awesome. One Court hopes to expand the technology to other sports.
Artificial intelligence is becoming a bigger part of the online shopping experience. No surprise here. A new survey from the National Retail Federation and IBM finds that 45% of shoppers have turned to AI for help. 33% use them to check reviews and 31% to search for deals.
It's probably the biggest shift in retail since the advent of the internet. I mean, that's how big this is. And I think what you're starting to see now is it's going from just having conversations where the chatbots, show you random products, to them almost acting like your best friend.
AI is also influencing people who are shopping in person. The survey finds 41% of shoppers use AI assistants, to research products before they head to the store.
Federal health officials are recommending women use new home screening kits for cervical cancer. The idea would make it easier for women to get screened. The Department of Health and Human Services say most private insurance plans will be required to cover those tests without charging patients out of pocket. Cervical cancer is most often caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. Now, up under the updated guidelines, women between 21 and 65 should continue regular screenings. In May, the FDA approved the first at-home test kit, but you will need a doctor's prescription for that home test kit. But that is great news. You don't have to go into the office. You can do it in the privacy of your own home.
That's a good thing. All right, Natalie. David, our EP, just titled this next story, Dig Deeper, Anthony. And this is why, because you may have to take out a loan if you want to see Indiana in the national championship game. StubHub says tickets are close to $4,000. That's where the prices start.
That's crazy.
Yes. Indiana and Miami play Monday night at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, which happens to be the home stadium for the Hurricanes. Cheapest ticket at the moment, and this is up in the rafters apparently, $3,500. $3,500.
That's one ticket.
Yeah.
You got to get airfare. The lodging's going to be super expensive.
Yeah. Dig deeper, Anthony.
I selfishly don't want you to go because I want you to stay right here with us.
It's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, it's the fish story some Florida deputies will be telling for a very long time. They had to rescue a shark from a crab trap off the coast of Sarasota. We've got video here. Deputies say they first noticed the shark during a routine beach patrol. Wow, it's huge. It was stuck on a crab trap with a fishing line coming from its lower jaw. After some brainstorming on what to do and probably a roll of the dice as to who's to do it, deputies knew who to call.
It was a good feeling to watch Mo get there and put him up to the boat and get. He actually had like 3 or 4 other hooks that were in him that they pulled out while they had him.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Once the shark was free, it swam away. It did not offer a thank you, in case you were wondering.
Well, that's good karma for that team rescuing that shark. That's interesting. He already had 2 or 3 other hooks in him. So, yeah, that shark
spent in the right place at the right time.
All right, here's a wild update to a wild story. We showed you the video of a dog escaping from that shelter in West Virginia. Turns out the dog went home.
Oh.
Someone who knew the dog told the shelter it made it back to its owner. The shelter had named the dog Dawson, but his real name was Rufus. This is unbelievable. Rufus is fine. Shelter says the case is now closed.
My good. So he must have gotten out, and then they picked him up.
Yeah.
And then he went back home.
Is that one of those, like, animals have that crazy good sense of orientation? I thought that was more of a cat thing, but dog found his way home. That's awesome.
I know I don't have it, okay? That's all I know.
That's why we have GPS.
Yes.
You're fine. All right, there is a home in Southern California that bears seem to love.
A bear was evicted from under this home a few days ago. I think we had this story last year at some point. Now either that bear or a new one is back. Ed Lasco has more.
Go, Eddie. Go, go, go. Go, go. He's out. He's out. No.
He's out, and now less than a week later, he or another bear is back. Same neighborhood, but a different house this time.
There's another bear and a mother bear and the 2 baby bears that live next door to us. The family has been out since the fire, and they have taken up residence there. We've had, people see them walking around the street.
Good morning, buddy.
Neighbors have video of what could be the bear wandering around near the home where this latest bear has been spotted sleeping in a crawl space under the home.
They'll just go by. I'm not at all afraid of the bears.
They're big.
Yeah, they're beautiful. But I just don't, they don't bother me as much.
All this just days after the eviction of this black bear, a good 500-pounder who spent weeks living under her home, hardly able to squeeze through that small crawl space. And now reports of it happening yet again, another home about a half-mile away this time, with a bear living in its crawl space.
And I know they try to go into like basements or just find food. Maybe they're trying to hibernate, don't know. But for the most part, it doesn't bother me. The coyotes are what get me.
You've been seeing a lot of coyotes around.
Lots of coyotes every day.
And every night. Look at this, would you? Coyotes moving through this neighborhood faster than commuters on the 405. But since last November, it is the bears that seemingly have moved into this neighborhood.
They have no place to go since the fire, so they take refuge in the houses around here.
Has to be frightening for people with small pets and children, I would think.
It's wildfires, too.
Plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead. Here's a look at what's coming up at 8 and 9. Keep it right here.
Are you struggling?
Well, you finally got the excuse you want to sleep in. The Wall Street Journal says waking up too early is bad for your health. Experts say forcing yourself to wake up at a time that does not come naturally leads to health problems. When you naturally wake up depends on you, but about 65% of people wake up with the sunrise and are the most productive between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Early birds are people who wake up between 6 and 6:30. Everyone else is a night owl.
I'm going to copy and paste that story for next time I walk in late to work.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's all for my health, guys.
Yeah, just looking out for my health. Okay, you might want to check the room number at your next hotel. Travel experts claim it will determine your peace and quiet. They say that rooms ending in 1 or 2 are close to elevators, stairs, and housekeeping. Plus, if you have a room on a higher level, chances are you won't hear noise from the lobby or the street. Experts say you should ask to see your room when you arrive to get an idea of how peaceful it will be.
All right.
Okay.
You'll be saying, holy cannoli, take a look at this. A New York bakery has a giant one. The colossal cannoli at Circo's pastry shop weighs, wait a minute, 5 pounds, weighs 5 pounds. Bakery, I was looking at the video and not reading the script. The bakery carefully packs dozens of